Hello and welcome to the next episode on my channel of just random D&D rants, rambling stories, stuff like that. Today I'm going to talk about being a dungeon master and why I think everyone should try it. If not, everyone who plays D&D should try it at least once. Being a dungeon master can be just as fun as being a player, if not more fun. And I think everyone has the ability to do it. I don't think it requires any special talent. I genuinely think if you can play D&D, you can be a dungeon master. And I mean, I've been doing it since 2015. I'm not saying I'm an expert or a veteran, but I'm still learning. I mean, just recently for my campaign Hellhounds, I was going through the book, the Dungeon Master's Guide, and just rereading it. And there was tons of stuff that I either forgot or just didn't know. Like, I I think I become too reliant on D&D Beyond for encounter building, for world building and such. Because I mean, the way I used to do it, I used to type everything up on Microsoft Word, save it to USB drives. Now, recently at least, I've gone to categorize, filling out notebooks. But I was rereading the Dungeon Master's Guide, and I found that there's a lot of things I just didn't know, or a lot of things I just didn't pay attention to. Like, there's whole sections in this book about creating cities and towns, something I struggle with in my regular world building. There's random tables. There's random tables about how you can manage how you can create a town or city, and they are actually really nice to use. For instance, I don't want to spoil it, but for Hellhounds, a little bit farther into, because I prepped for a couple days in a total, not like I've only spent a few days on it. I mean, a couple of days total. Like, a few hours here, a few hours there. But using the random tables, I was able to craft a city that they will eventually go to. And it's a lot easier than just trying to off the cuff come up with a city or town. Not saying that you should completely rely on randomized tables. You should sit down and you should plan out a city, especially if your players are going to be spending any amount of time there. But I don't know where I'm going with this. Basically, read the book. I've never read it all the way through. I've always been kind of a person who likes to rush. I want to play so bad that I just vomit up a world. But reading the book has rejuvenated me. It has encouraged me to continue being a dungeon master, and it's made things a lot easier. And I'm just rambling at this point, but I mean, the main purpose of this video is, if you are thinking about being a dungeon master, go for it. Sit there and just do it. Rip the band-aid off and just make a world. Make a campaign for your friends. If you can't find the DM, become a DM. And I'm not saying go out and recruit random people. That's not always the best bet. But find a group. If you have friends who are interested in playing, play with them. If you have family interested in playing, play with family. And if you are to the point where you don't have any options, you don't have family who want to play, friends who want to play, maybe then reach out to like the Reddit, looking for groups, D&D Reddit, not D&D horror stories, don't go there, or RPG horror stories. I mean, there's that new website, Start Playing. I haven't used it, but I've heard it can be pretty nice. If you think you're a competent enough dungeon master, you could even charge. I believe you can charge. I believe you can do it for free, or you can charge. Either one. But I think if you feel like you are a competent dungeon master, even if you don't feel that way, even if you feel like, I'm not too good at it, just try it. You never know. Because when I first started playing, I wanted to be a player. I didn't want to be a dungeon master. But it was kind of forced upon me because all the people I knew who could be a dungeon master either weren't going to be one for me or were too busy. For instance, Connor, the person who got me into D&D, he was in college at the time, he was way too busy to run a campaign. And I've mentioned this before. I have run campaigns for my friends who weren't really interested, and I got them interested. There are some instances where they became. I think only one time, Manny was a dungeon master for literally a one session thing that just didn't take off. But for the most part, I've been the dungeon master. I love it more than being a player. I'll admit that. I like being in control. I like steering the narrative in the direction I feel like. I don't. It's not that I don't like being a player. I just prefer being a dungeon master. Not to say I'm adverse to being a player. I've played a couple of times, but on my hand I can count exactly how many times I've been a player compared to the numerous times I've been the dungeon master. I mean, I will probably be running two or three campaigns in the future. Right now, I've only got one, the one that's on the channel, the Hellhounds, which I've spent a lot of time on, and I'm still. I mean, I'm filling up. This is the notebook. That's just the basic story, and I'm filling it up. But I don't know where I'm going with this. Just give it a shot. If you have no one to play with, I'm sorry, if you have no one to be a dungeon master, become a dungeon master. I mean, that's all I gotta say. I think it's not easy. It can be difficult. There's a lot of not nuances, but there's a lot of things you have to learn. And I do recommend if you have the Dungeon Master's Guide, don't be like me. Don't skim through it. Don't cherry pick what you want to read. Read the whole thing. Sit down, read it before you plan out a world. Otherwise, your world's going to be hollow, and the campaign's not going to last long. But I mean, I guess that's all I got. So, question in the comments: have you thought about being a dungeon master? Are you a forever DM? Are you a forever player? Just tell me what you're thinking. Thanks for watching.